Hello everyone! Now as you have found and annotated your sources, you should be able to start putting together your paper. But before you start any writing, you should first come up with a good thesis statement. In this video, we're going to look at what a thesis statement is and how to write one. We are also going to look at some examples of good and bad thesis statements so that you know what precisely to do and what not to do while writing your own thesis. You might be wondering why writing a thesis statement is such an important step. Why should you just begin by thinking about one before you've started any writing? Well, the answer is simple. Once you've established a good thesis statement, it will help you to stay focused, and this will prevent you from going off topic. What is a thesis statement? As some of you might already know, a thesis statement appears at the end of the introduction and is usually the last sentence of the intro. A thesis statement presents the topic, so it tells the reader what the essay is going to be about. And finally, a thesis statement informs the reader of the writer's stance. So, especially in an argumentative essay, it is very important to know how the writer feels about the topic, whether they agree or disagree with it. Next, I'm going to show you some examples. There's 4 sentences. You need to decide if any of these 4 is an example of a good thesis statement. You can pause the video now to think. Now, as you might have guessed, statement number 4 is an example of a good thesis statement. The other 3 are not. So let's see what's wrong with them. Statement number 1 introduces the topic. So we know that the essay is going to talk about the pros and cons of eating organic food. We don't know anything beyond that. So therefore, this is not a good example of a thesis statement. Statement number 2 is an opinion. So it presents an opinion, but it doesn't say anything beyond that. So, in other words, it does not justify the opinion. So we don't know why the writer thinks so. So this is a weak example. So it's not a good thesis statement. Statement number 3 is not good either because it introduces a result of a study. So this could be used to support maybe your position further in the body, but this alone cannot be called a thesis statement. Statement number 4 is an example of a good thesis statement because it contains the following 3 elements. So it contains the following 3 elements: the topic, writer's position or stance, and justification. So from this thesis statement, we understand that the essay is going to be about organic food. We know that the writer thinks that organic food is not a healthier option, and we know why. So because of the hidden dangers that are well documented in a number of recent studies. So the last bit of this sentence helps us to understand what to expect next in the rest of the essay. Now, I'd like you to take a minute to read this statement and decide if this is a good example of a thesis statement. You can pause the video now to think. Alright. Obviously, this is a strong thesis statement because it has the 3 elements. It has the clear topic, so we know, it presents the topic clearly. We know the writer's position, so we know how they feel about the topic, and there is some evidence to support writer's position. Therefore, this is a strong thesis statement. Now, before we end our video, I'd like to remind you that writing an academic essay is like writing a research paper. It's a continuous process in which you keep on reading and researching, and as you keep reading and researching, you'll find more information and more evidence, so that you will keep developing and refining your thesis statement. Not only your thesis statement, but also your body and the rest of your writing. So the final version of your thesis statement needs to be elaborate. It needs to clearly mention the topic of your essay. It needs to show the writers your perspective or opinion about the topic, and should also summarize the evidence that you will use to support the writer's perspective. This is all I had for today. Thanks for watching.